What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. I'm super excited to do this video today because we are going to be reviewing the new website/app from Overstreet, Overstreet Access. If you all aren't familiar with what Overstreet is doing here with Overstreet Access, hopefully you can watch this video today and get pretty savvy to it. Guys, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please take some time to do so. But we are going to get right into this. What you see right here is, of course, their website. I have an account. We're logged in here, and I'm going to walk you through some of the basics of what you get with Overstreet Access. And then I am going to talk about some pros, maybe some cons of what I feel about the website/app. I do want to let everyone know I will be doing a separate video in the near future where I'll be discussing my thoughts when comparing Overstreet Access to other competitors out there. But let's just go right into it here, guys. I mean, you can already tell you log into the website, and I love the presentation that you're already seeing here. We are logged in here. We're going to go ahead and click, and here we are. Welcome back, Journos Comics. You see that I got some value in here. I got some comic books added. So what I really like about this app is basically the main idea of it being a comic book database where you, as a collector, can store your comic books. You can use the interface on desktop browser or a laptop browser, or you can use it on your phone. You can even use it on a mobile browser, and it's extremely functional. There are some things that you can't do on the app that you can do through the browser, at least currently. I'm sure, this is new to the market. They're going to continue to be doing some updates and so forth. But one thing that I really enjoy is the user friendliness of this app when adding your collection into your account. Now we're going to go into my collection right here, and you can see that I have Journos collection. Now you can actually separate different collections in here. So say you have kids and you want to put your kids' collections in the app too, you could do that. But within each collection, you can actually add different boxes, as it says right here. So we're going to go ahead and jump into Journos collection. You can see that I have box one that's just basically the starter box. And then I added an Amazing Spider-Man box, a Captain America box. And I just love how it's just a virtual collection. And then you go in and you can add books. You go into my Amazing Spider-Man. Right now, I have 3 books out of 651. I like this option as well. Not only can you go and see which books you have, and these are the ones that I have added in here. You can see the grade, you can see the estimated value, you can add purchase price if you know what that is. But you can click this button right here, the gap list, and it actually shows you which ones you don't have. So you can look at it from both perspectives, and that is very helpful, of course, if you are, in a comic book shop and needing to know exactly which books you are missing from a run that you are collecting. Now, you're looking at the collection here, but how do we get to adding books to the collection or navigating the site? And again, it is pretty user friendly. I mean, you have title and issue number right here that you could just click and add stuff in there. But you also have these tabs up here: publishers, titles, story arc, characters, contributors, and retailers. And we're going to get into these as well. But let's go to publishers here, because you could go and you could start looking into the database from publishers. So you got all kind of random smaller publishers and so forth. And then, of course, you can search publishers. We're going to search Marvel. And, of course, what comes up, you got Marvel Music, Marvel Knights, Marvel UK, etc. DC, Humanoids, DC Comics, so forth. So, I mean, very self-explanatory. You click on publisher, it gives you a history. So there is some context between publishers, and if you go into specific titles, Suicide Squad, you'll get some type of context here as well. And then from here, of course, you could start adding stuff to your collection. Now you could do the same thing, of course, with titles. And then you could do the same thing with story arcs. I really like the story arc idea because a lot of collectors collect via story arc. Like, oh, well, what's a good story arc that I can read or start collecting? And you have it right here. Now, of course, you guys are probably already seeing a lot of similarity to some other apps or websites out there. And of course, that's going to happen. And you're talking about competitors. It's just like when you're looking at grading companies. You know, you look at CGC or CBCS or EGS or PGX, you're going to see a lot of similarities because they're all grading companies. But then you got to get down to what each of them offers for you as a collector or as a consumer, right? Now, another awesome thing that you could do is, of course, search according to character. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to put Black Canary. And then you get the different Black Canaries that pop up. And you click on one, gives you a little backstory, origin. I really like that. And then it gets into books associated with that character. So let's go into my collection and we're going to talk a little bit about adding books to your collection. Journo's collection, boom. Now, I just went to my LCS or I purchased something from eBay or I got some books back from CGC, whatever the case may be. And it's some Spider-Man books. So I'm going to go into Amazing Spider-Man here. And I'm going to say, well, I only have, you know, these 3 books added. How about my Amazing Spider-Man 129? So I'm going to go ahead and use the search function. Amazing Spider-Man 129. I'm going to search that up. So I want to notate that here is volume 1 that shows up. 129 doesn't show up automatically. But when you click into the volume 1 and it gives you the oversight, the book that you actually searched does show up right here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to click on this. And again, it gives you context and information regarding the issue, release date, variants, and then the little synopsis right here, right? And I am going to go ahead and click on the plus button. Okay, so my book is a 3.0. I'm going to click that. How many issues? 1. Purchase price. I don't remember that at the top of my head, but I can come back to that and add that later. Which collection should this be stored in? Journo's collection. That's the only one I have. Select box. It's going to be my Amazing Spider-Man box. Save. Boom. There it is. Now the book is in my collection. I'm going to go back to my boxes. Journo's collection. Amazing Spider-Man box. Now I got 4 in there. I'm going to drop this down. And I'm going to go ahead and look at this. Here it is. Pretty easy, right? I mean, that is super user-friendly. And just like that, boom. So let's go ahead. What I want to do now, we're going to go back into my boxes, into my collection. I want to add another box. So I'm going to go ahead and click into my collection. I'm going to go ahead and click this add button right here where it says Journo's Collection Boxes. I'm going to click this. And it's going to allow me to add or create boxes, it says here. In box name, I'm going to say Wolverine. Now, I'm going to come down to notes here, and I'm going to say, because Wolverine has the first Volume 1 limited series, I'm going to say Volume 1 and Volume 2. So I don't necessarily need to make a whole box, just a specific volume or anything like that, and I can notate exactly what's in here. And then I'm going to save. And now I have my Wolverine box. And I could go in here and I could start adding books. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to title and issue number. We're going to go Wolverine number 1. And all of the different volumes pop up. I'm looking for volume 1, right? Here it is, issue number 1. I'm going to click on that. And mine is a 9.6. I'm going to click on that. How many issues? 1. Purchase price, man, I think I paid like $60. Journo's collection. Select box, Wolverine. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead. We'll say $65. I'll put a purchase price in there. Save. Boom. There we go. Now I get to go back into my collection. And there it is. And boom. All right, next, guys, we're going to look at value. Value is Probably one of the most important things for databases like this. You can see my collection right here. It has an estimated value, the valuation of all the books that I have added in. Let's go ahead and go in here and let's look at, I have an Avengers 10 first appearance of Rogue. Now, it says $64 estimated value. I do know one thing. Their values are raw value estimates, very, of course, similar to their annual publications. Now, they don't have graded values at the moment, but again, after communications with Overstreet, that is something that they are working on, that will be on the website and the app in the near future. So I know that's big for a lot of us to have the graded value as well. So I want to bring this up here where it talks about value. And we're going to read a little bit of this because this is very important. So they go on to state here, values for items listed or pictured on Overstreet Access and or in the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide are based on author's experience, consultations with a network of advisors, including collectors specializing in various categories, and actual prices realized for specific items sold through auctions, both online and in person, private sales, and as well as comic book shops. They go on to say the values offered are, of course, approximations influenced by these many factors, including condition, rarity, etc. So, a couple things I want to highlight here that are very important. One, grading is subjective already. You take graded books from CGCS or CBCS, whatever it may be, and those grades are subjective. When you get to raw book grades, those are even more subjective. So that's why these are approximations. You know, they're taking in subjective grading and, of course, probably looking at averages across the board. One thing that I like about being able to look at values of books is having specific individual recent sales. We can do that ourselves by going on eBay and checking eBay sold, and then we can add up, the last month's sales and do a rough average for fair market value. There are websites and databases out there that do have certain, they populate certain individual sales, like from from eBay or Heritage. So while I do like having that, I actually like the fact that although we don't see the sales ourselves, we know that Overstreet has a lot of different individuals pulling sales from a lot of different points of sales. And we have to understand that the point of sale for certain books can have a large standard deviation from a median. Meaning, if you have the same book that's selling in a whatnot auction in the same grade from a popular whatnot seller, and you just have a few people in that sitting in on that show on that auction, they could bid that up to almost 3 times as much as there is a buy it now for the same book, same grade on eBay. I've seen it happen before. There's so many databases out there that don't take sales from private sales or from LCSs. So our idea of fair market value can really shift from one point of sale to another. So when you have a database like this that is pulling from all of them, I think it allows us as consumers to have a better understanding of what we are willing to either pay for a book or what price point we're willing to part with the book if we are selling said book. So I like what they're doing here. This is something that they've been doing with their book for years, and that's why a lot of people over the years are saying, oh well, they're irrelevant now because we have spec value for comic books with all movies and TV shows that could change the fair market value of these books overnight, literally. And yes, while I understand that's the case, spec value isn't the only thing driving the values of these books. And there's something there to be said when you're actually accumulating a more total valuation from the total market. And I think it also allows us to see a more total valuation for long-term value rather than outliers or just recent sales where something could peak briefly, but then maybe, work itself back down in value quicker than it rose. So really, really, this works for me when I'm looking at trying to understand the value of my collection. Now, let's go back into adding books, and we're going to go over a little bit of value and how easy it is to add books into your collection. Now, we talk about bulk ads where we don't have to add, one book at a time. We can actually add, for example, by story arc. So let's go ahead and go to story arcs and let's look up, say, Craven's Last Hunt. Say I just recently picked up like every book in the story arc, and of course it gives you a synopsis. And here's every book. You could just click the bulk add here, and all the books will be added. Now you can actually do the same by title. Now let's say for me, let's take a smaller run that I know I have a complete run of. Spider Woman, right? Let's look her up. I'm talking about volume 1 right here. So I could just, there's 50 issues. I know I have all of them. I could just click this right here and add them all. So I could click select collection, journals collection, select box, Spider Woman volume 1. I already got a box in there. Now, here's the thing. I could just click this right here and do a bulk add, right? But we're talking about value, right? They value your books based on a raw grade. So you still have to pick the grade that you think the book is when adding it to your collection. And that's what populates that, estimated raw grade value. So even though I could do a bulk drop right here of this entire run, I would have to sit here and select a grade for each of the 50 books in the run. So here's a bit of maybe a critique that they can evolve here that I would like to see is I would like for them to have an option where you can actually add books without picking a grade. And what happens is when you pick that option, it just won't populate a value for you, right? And then later on, you could go back in and actually add a grade later. So say, for example, I have a night free. I want to spend a couple hours hanging out in my comic book room. Maybe I'm watching, Winter Soldier on my TV, or maybe I'm just chilling back, listening to music, and the kids are playing video games, whatever the case may be. And I want to add my Spider Woman to my collection. And I already have it added in there because I was able to bulk drop without picking a grade. And I could go back in one by one and I'll take each book out, examine it, grade it myself, assign it a grade, and then go back into the app and assign a grade for each book. And once I do that, then the values will populate in my collection. I would absolutely like to see that. But overall, again, I think how they're working in these features really works extremely well. Again, reiterating the user friendliness and just the real detailed integration of everything that you can do with this app and how you can organize your collection. All right, next up, I want to highlight the retailers tab. I think this is really, really unique to Overstreet Access here. Really sets them apart. You have a map right here that connects you to retailers across North America. It's absolutely awesome that they are pairing up with retailers in a way that can connect us to what's available in our areas. I live in Sacramento, so I'm going to type in Sacramento, California, and we see everything that pops up here. We're going to zoom in. Oh, look what's right here. A1 Comics. A1 Comics, one of my favorite shops. Obviously, I bet this right here is going to be Comic Command Center. We got Comic Command Center, another one. Now, here's the really great thing about this. We could go into each of these stores that pop up. We could go to Shop Profile. Now, it has the information of each store, right? But we can also see store inventory. Now, it doesn't look like they have any inventory up themselves here for Comic Command Center. But if they did, you can actually see stuff from your gap list, which is stuff that you need, come up in their inventory, and it shows you exactly what they have that you need for your collection. So we're going to go back right out here. And because I know that this first one that pops up here, this is a New Jersey location. I know if I click here on Gotham Underground, that they do have some books, not much, but they got a little bit here. Say I was looking for some of these Battlestar Galactica books. What's in my gap list and what I don't have is going to pop up. Now I can contact retailer and inquire. So it really builds those connections on a personal level, store to collector, consumer. Now, I know that there's some the entities out there that link you right up to eBay or other sites like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna, that's convenience right there to be able to do that one click. A lot of us don't want to get out of our homes and hop in the car and go drive down, but for those of us that do want a different option for us to really connect with our local shops, this is one of those options. And they're also, after talking with Overstreet, they talked about having ways to where you have your LCSs having their own accounts on the app. We as collectors have our own accounts, and they can actually compile their inventory into the app to where we can set up like bulk buys or kind of like pull lists to where we could see what they have, communicate through the app. We could send them our gap list, and they can actually fulfill orders, working through the Overstreet Access app. And I think that's really, really awesome and an amazing feature. So we went over just so much that is in this app slash website, folks. I know there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline as well. They're going to have inventory ranging from trade paperbacks to manga, as well as our standard floppies that we love so much. There's going to be guided notes integrated into books as well. There's going to be a lot more updates. So I want to provide a little bit of a, I don't want to say a pro and con because there's a ton of pros here, but I do want to, talk about a little bit of critiques that I still have as well, very small. But let's go back over the pros and reiterate. First and foremost, them having an app is huge. Getting that out of the way and being able to go on your laptop or even go on your internet browser on your phone and have it is very extremely user friendly for that app browser, or excuse me, for that mobile device, but as well as having the app puts them, ahead of the game. The user friendliness of it is amazing. I love the layout. It's easy to navigate. It's easy to add books and build into your collection. um we know that there's a lot of entities out there that have websites that are in the comic book industry where it looks like their website has not been updated for 20 years. So I really like that they, that was something that obviously they put a lot of focus into. It looks good, it runs good, it feels good when you are using it. Again, a huge positive in my book too is this retailers link, really hooking you up with retailers and kind of revolutionizing that aspect is as well. Another pro again that I want to reiterate really fast is, of course, how they're working the values, getting a larger macro analysis of where sales are coming from for us to have a more wider range of a value, instead of saying, oh, we're just taking from online sales or we're just taking from eBay. Because again, point of sale changes what we as collectors are willing to pay for a given book at any given time, and that's just a matter of fact. Again, I like the search engines, how you can search from publisher, title, story arcs. Of course, I think that's much needed for any database that's out there these days as well. Now, we talked about values. Graded comic values are coming, so I would say that would be a critique if I didn't know they're already coming, but they are. Patience. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we get to see that rolling out on the app. And then my other only really critique right now, we're gonna go in here. Let's go back into the collection. And I do have some insider information on this too, that this is gonna be rolling out. So let's go into my collection and let's look at Captain America 117. We're gonna bring this up. As many of us know, maybe some of you don't. This is the first appearance of Falcon, and while we have some information, synopsis, and we have characters, contributors, and all that, we don't have the fact that it says first appearance of the Falcon, Sam Wilson. This is needed dearly. I know that a lot of collectors, regardless of if we're, you know, collecting keys or we just want to highlight everything that's a part of these books that's in our collections, knowing first appearances, origins, etc., etc. This is very important to us as collectors for many reasons. So to not have that here, It feels like it's missing a lot, but like I said, I already have word and I know that this is something that they are rolling out. So, one thing too that I know that they're going to do here, so we could go into, let's go into characters. You can go into characters right here and see who was affiliated in this book, but we're going to actually go to characters right here. Let's look up the Falcon. I know that this is going to be coming too when you go into the character bio, and again, just kudos for everything that they have here. So if you're looking to get to familiarize yourself with the character, they're going to have actual links to their key books. So like you could come and say, "Oh, well, I want to start collecting the Falcon," and you're not too familiar with Falcon's character. You can search him in the characters. You can pull up the bio. You can read about it, and you can have links that'll bring you right to their key books, like their first appearances and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, already you do have down here every book and title that they are included in or featured in. So, but again, I'm looking at these critiques that I want to bring up of the website, and already they are working on evolving and adding these things in the near future. Overall, folks, I am extremely happy with Overstreet Access. God honest opinion. Now, I do use other databases, whether it be apps or websites, and I'm going to continue using them, but I'm going to use Overstreet Access as well. I am a firm believer in the power of healthy competition. I mean, you use fast food as an example. I don't eat fast food myself, but you look at all these options like McDonald's, Burger King, Carl's Jr. Do you really think that they're worried about the next one? Of course, they're always trying to up each other's game, but it's healthy competition because the competition makes you better. And I love that Overstreet Access is finally entering this arena, and I think it's just going to provide um, an evolution in this arena as well across the board. And I really have confidence in what Overstreet is going to be doing with this platform, simply because of the precedent that they brought to the table for multiple decades now. So I'm excited to see the evolution of this app. I hope I have some free time this weekend so I could sit and hang out and add more books to my collection, because it's also fun. It's time consuming, but it is fun. And like I said, really easy to use. So I want to know all of your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if you guys are already using the app slash website, if you plan on using the app slash website, if you have any critiques or what you feel like what stands out to you, let me know in the comments below. And of course, I will leave a link to overstreetaccess.com right below, so you click on it, give it a look for yourself, and fill it out. And again, I really want to hear your feedback. Feedback is needed for all of us as users, as consumers, and from the companies themselves as well. So again, everyone, thank you so much for watching. Be well, and until next time.